Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of TCG Talk. Back today with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you my day, not even day 0, like day -10 Cindra list. Kind of talk about where my initial thoughts with the hero have gone. Just have some fun with it. This isn't meant to be like a definitive deck tech. This isn't saying run this at Memphis. This is to give you a good starting point if you're a little bit stuck on how you think you should approach the hero, because the hero has definitely a couple ways we can play her, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Also, I don't have the face cam up. It's early in the morning. I am half asleep, and I am trying to get out these videos for you all, so I just want to go no face cam today. I hope you all can understand. But regardless, we'll get into the video. Cindra is really cool. Whenever you hit a marked hero, create a fealty token. Once per turn instant, you can bring up to 2 daggers back from your graveyard. This costs 1 less for each chain link you control. So she's really trying to get as much value as possible with these kunai. Attack with them twice, flick one of them, basically getting 3 damage off of her kunai per chain link. Maybe bring them back and then attack with them again if you possibly could. So she's doing some really cool stuff. I have gone more of the cost reduction route, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But I think there's 2 initial ways you could take Cindra. You could just do like the all draconic route with some decent cost reduction, but you're really just trying to make the most of all the draconic cards she has access to, or you could play like that, somewhat utilize the fealty. You could do like heavy fealty, where you're trying to make fealty tokens and then use things like Snatch and Enlightened Strike and all these other cards to really pop off. There's a bunch of different ways you could take her. I have built my list kind of around Aura of the Dragon Blood, and I'll talk about that here in a second. Not like completely, but a decent amount. When it comes to the equipment, Mask Momentum's the easiest one. We won't go crazy on that. Being able to keep this alive with your Flick Knives and your kunai is really useful. And you can run links, and I do have links in the sideboard for some few choice matchups like Dynamo Warrior, where I just want to get the most I can from a good Blood Runs Deep turn or something like that. But overall, being able to keep her stuff alive is good enough. We'll have to see how that ends up shaping up. Links might not even end up staying in the sideboard, but we'll have to see. When it comes to the chest piece, I've actually been running Blood Spattered Vest. I've been testing most on Tabletop Simulator, so it's actually been able to be used. It's still not quite coded in Talishar. You can just block with it currently, but I have found on those big Aura of the Dragon blood turns, it actually is doing really well. It's allowing you to just gain an extra resource or 2 when you need it, because on a big Aura of the Dragon blood turn, your next 2 kunai are going to be free, but then you can use Blood Spattered Vest off of like maybe both of them hitting if it's a really big pop-off turn, to give both of your kunai the second time you're going to attack with them on that pop-off turn, make them also free. Or because Dragon Blood mixed with stuff like Wrath of Retribution and other things that are giving cost reduction, it's just going to like compound. And I found this to be more useful. Furnace is also an option as well, just if you want the more block and the occasional use case, but Furnace isn't really pitched into Cindra. You also can just use Tunic, but I've found it to be really useful. Then Flick Knives, this is the obvious one. I won't even go over all the use cases. The main point is to keep your daggers, keep your Mask Momentum alive, get the most out of your daggers. Pretty simple there. And then the leg piece, I tried the new Draconic legs once or twice, and honestly, I just want Snapdragon Scalers, because there's certain times where I need to just get go again. It's not often. Most of these cards are really good about giving go again. I have a lot of good starters, and a lot of your starters are your kunai, so most of the time you're fine. But every once in a while you'll come into these weird hands where you have like an Aura of the Dragon Blood with no draconic, no fealty. You have like a Blaze Headlong. Maybe you have like a Demonstrate Devotion, which needs to be on the second link, and then you have like a Display Loyalty, right? So you're like, okay, well, let's see what we can do here. I don't want to just blank my turn, so I'll start with Aura of the Dragon Blood, which gets go again with snaps. Then you Blaze, then you Display Loyalty, and you can at least like have a decent 10 plus damage turn. It's basically a get out of jail free card more than anything. So when it comes to the list itself, I've played around with a bunch of things. Like I said, find what works for you. But what I'm really looking to do in this deck is have a really good Aura of the Dragon Blood turn with a fealty that says when this attacks, if it is Draconic, it gets go again. And the next 3 Draconic cards you play this turn cost 1 less to play. So you're able to do stuff like Aura of the Dragon Blood into Spreading Flames for free, and then Spreading Flames into Wrath of Retribution because it gets -1 cost reduction from or it gets pretty much free cost reduction, but you're able to play this for free, or you're able to play another kunai for free, and you're basically able to really fuel your Spreading Flames turns. You could even do like Aura of the Dragonblood into Spreading Flames, into like Demonstrate Devotion, into another fealty, Devotion Never Dies, all for free. That's very, very useful. It also is really good on Wrath of Retribution turns. So, I mean, this card basically says, you know, if you play it right, it's a 0 for 4 go again 3 block that gains 3 resources. I mean, that's just unbelievable, right? They have to be Draconic cards, of course, but your whole deck is pretty much Draconic, and then you have fealty to make up for it if you don't. The only non-Draconic cards we have in the deck that are actually attacks are Devotion Never Dies, Aura of the Dragonblood. Let's make sure. Technically, first Tenet Strike first, and Stab Wound. I mean, that's pretty much it from what I'm seeing. Just triple checking myself. Yeah, so that's what we're looking to do. Otherwise, like, we're playing some really just good high value cards. I do like Ancestral Empowerment in this deck. You are wanting to hit with Mask Momentum. I have found, originally I was doing a lot of the 0 for 3 routes. You'll notice my deck has a lot more 1 for 4s than most lists, and because the reason is because, one, Aura of the Dragonblood turns become even more annoying to block because you have breakpoint after breakpoint. Like, even on a non-pop-off Spreading Flames turn, being able to do Aura of the Dragonblood into Demonstrate Devotion for free, into Devotion Never Dies, popping a fealty for free, and then into a Mark with Magma for free. All of a sudden you're hitting for 4, 8, 12, 16 with 0 pitch, right? So really, really good. I really like that. And she plays very similar, not similar, but she plays like Katsu, where she's wanting to lead with these Kodachis, air quotes. So this is a way to have it start that chain link and then be able to get the Demonstrate Devotion for free, right? You know, you do kunai, Demonstrate Devotion, make a fealty, you know, then you pop your fealty, play Devotion Never Dies off of a blue. Really good there, right? I'm at 18 blue, so I've even thought about going like to 20, but 18 seems to be the good amount right now. But you really want to be pitching your kunai a lot. So because of that, you play almost like a Katsu-like blue count in order to pitch for your Kodachis consistently. And 18 sometimes can even be a little weird. Heroic Blaze Headlong, just really good value. Blood Runs Deep, this card's insane. Being able to do, you know, kunai, Blood Runs Deep, flick both of them, destroy the daggers, activate Cindra, bring them back, attack with them again. It just becomes really good value. You can literally do a 2-card 9 off of a blue with this card. You do kunai, Blood Runs Deep, flick them both. You've now done 6 damage. You bring them both back. You activate Vest 1 time off one of the kunai because they're probably not going to block one. So you have 4 resources on your blue. And then you attack with both kunai again. So you're at 2, 4, 6, 8. And then on the last kunai, you flick 1. So you're at 2-card 9. 2-card 9 over 6 chain links. We'll talk about that on a future video with fun Cindra lines. So this card is insane. I am running 6 Brand with Cinder Claw just to help my Aura. I mean, Aura of the Dragonblood doesn't get the cost reduction, but if I have to in a pinch, just, you know, if I don't have the fealty and I really just want to have a decent turn, I can do Brand of Cinder Claw into Aura of the Dragonblood, or Brand of Cinder Claw into Fire, Tenet, Strike Fist, to be able to keep those Draconic chain links up. Really, really helps there. Also, it helps in Devotion Never Dies. Very, very good. You don't have to pop a fealty in order to get the on-hit snatch-like effect with this card. Burning Blade Dance is really good just to get the most value out of your daggers. If you go kunai, and you flick on the second kunai for your first kunai, and then you play this, you basically flick your second kunai. So you're looking for ways to where you can air quotes flick both kunai before they break, right? Before you have to, activate Cindra. Even on Blood Runs Deep turns, like, you do have to break the chain before you can go get them, right? Or not, you don't, because it pops itself. But anytime, that's what I'm trying to say. Anytime you can pop the daggers before you have to break the chain, so you actually can activate Cindra to go get them, is really nice, right? You do kunai, second kunai, flick the first one, pop it, so now you have an open weapon slot. Then you play Burning Blade Dance, which allows you to flick the second kunai, essentially. Now you have 2 open weapon slots. Now you can activate Cindra for free and get them back, because sometimes you'll find ways, if you can't find ways to flick away these kunai consistently, then you're stuck where they're still on the chain and they're not broken yet, and then activating Cindra isn't as consistent. We are running a lot of 1-for-4s. We are running stuff like Demonstrate Devotion, but the unconditional fealty is just too good to be able to fuel what we're trying to do. This card might not be as crucial to you if you're not running like Are the Dragon Blood or Devotion Never Dies or Snatch or something like that, right? But for our style list, we want these unconditional fealty makers like Display Loyalty and Demonstrate Devotion to be able to fuel these non-draconic cards. Devotion Never Dies is really good. I mean, this card's like almost like an auto blocked if you are on a blue, being able to swing with it again, as long as you have the fealty and the resources to use it. I have had several times where I got 8 value out of this. Just really, really good, especially your opponents that don't want to block you in any aggro mirrors. First Tenant Strike, Fire Tenant Strike Fist is a weird card. It says when this attacks, your next draconic attack, this combat chain gets +1. This is a good starter. It is not a draconic attack though, so you have to keep that in mind when you're trying to get to that magical three time draconic link, so you can activate Cindra. But it does have really good applicability into things like, you know, just having really good value. I mean, you have Fire Tenant Strike Fist into a 0-for-4, or into like a Display Loyalty for 4, on hit create a field, or not on hit, on attack create a fealty, and you hit a breakpoint on your second link, which, as we all know, if you've played Katsu ever, is very important, forcing your opponent to block with multiple cards to potentially block that mask. It can just be really, really good. I do have 2 Lava Bursts. This deck utilizes Lava Burst really well. This is also a good snap target if we run into multiple of these, or we run into a way of doing Lava Burst into something else. Lava Burst into like a Stab Wound on a super long chain link. You can get a lot of value because they might just block the rest out with Lava Burst, snap it, and then play Stab Wound and hopefully get like an additional 4 damage, or you buy some of their equipment. Mark with Magma is an interesting one. It's a 1-for-4 go again. It's a 3-block. I don't know how I feel about this card yet, but I do like the fact that it's really easy to get to the second Draconic Chain Link in this deck. It hits a breakpoint on Chain Link 2, which is really useful. It blocks 3 and it marks them. And in Cindra, it's the mark on Cindra is a lot more like just it's gonna happen. Like when Arachne marks or when Fang marks, you can kind of like try to block them out for a turn or two if you really wanted to. Cindra, good luck blocking them out because when they hit a mark here and make a fealty, you're basically guaranteed to make that fealty pretty quick. Rising Resentment, more cost reduction for these 1 cost that we have. Spreading Flames, cards bonkers. Makes your kunai attack for 2. When you pair this with Ratchet Retribution, now they attack for 3, and it just gets really stupid really fast. This card is absolutely broken. You can easily get +4 value with this card if you sequence everything correctly. The blues, I have gone with more of I want as many 3 blocks as possible. Hence 15 out of 18 of my cards are 3 blocks. And I just want utility. So we have Brand with Cinderclaw, which is the obvious one. Knives Out, I like this. This is almost always a 0-for-2 block 3 blue, which is really good, right? It's better than what you're going to get. Most other blues you're going to run that are more aggressive are 0-for-1 block 2 blues. So why would you not use this? Same thing with Lava Vein Loyalty. It is a 0-for-1, but it's a block 3. Prowess of Agility is the one that's kind of like my fun tech card. Most of the time this card is just a blue block 3, but I've had especially turn 1s where I've like gone kunai, Burning Blade Dance, activate Cindra, bring both kunai back, or I have 2 blues, break the chain, pitch a blue, bring the kunai back, play Prowess of Agility. I've attacked 3 times that turn, so it stays on. You know, your turn 1, turn 2 plays where you can get 1 or 2 of these out. It starts to get really dumb because you'll have these crazy like 7-card hands. It's not a game-breaking card. You could easily replace this, but it's a blue block 3, and I wanted to try it out. That's definitely a flex slot. Stab Wound is just really good. I mean, I've had times in aggro mirrors already in like small fun testing games where like the opponent didn't want to block, and they get hit with 4 kunai over the turn if I bring them back and attack with them again because I flicked them away, and then they still say no blocks, or they block out just the mass trigger, and then all of a sudden I'm saying, okay, here's a Stab Wound for 2, on hit, lose an additional 4 life, so it's a 0-for-6, and it forces at least another card or equipment from them. Can be really good. This card, Throw Dagger, again, it's nothing crazy. This is a Flick Knives activation that draws you, that replaces itself. what I like about this is that, again, I'm looking for ways to flick both kunai off the chain so then I can bring them back with Cindra before the chain breaks. Cards like Burning Blade Dance, cards like Blood Runs Deep, they do that. They flick away that second kunai after you flicked away the first one with your flick knives. And Throw Dagger is just another element to do that. Honestly, I want to try to find one more way to do that if I can. There are a couple other ways. I'm going to try to eke in the deck if I can, because that's how you get the most value out of your kunai, is if you can attack with both of them on the chain, but then also flick them both away on the chain, so then you can get additional damage. So that's the core. Again, play with it, see what you like. If you go a different way with her, it completely makes sense to me. The sideboard's pretty simple. Snag for pesky assassins. That all you got. It's really good into the mirror. It's going to be pretty good. It's not as good in Fang because he does buff a lot, but it can be good. We have Seek Below. This could also be the new card. Excuse me, sorry for the sneeze. It could be the new card. I just like a way to be able to sync away cards that I may not need at the time, but if you ran the new Shelter card, it'd be insane, obviously. And then I've been playing around with Aura the Dragon Scale. I think there's gonna be a lot of decks that have one block important equipment in their list. Like, for example, anyone that's running flick knives, like an assassin or a ninja. A lot of people are running tunic. You're gonna have people, other powerful decks running certain things that are very useful to their game plan. And being able to attack with this at the end of a chain and make it draconic, and it says when this attacks, if it's draconic, it gets, when it hits a hero, put a -1 counter on their equipment they control. If it has 0, destroy it. So this kills a tunic. This kills flick knives. This kills Valiant Dynamos. So this really is into those specific decks is almost an auto block, because no warrior is going to want their dynamos to be broken up. No Cindra or Arachne is going to want their flick knives to be blown up. So it just forces interaction. Maybe they took 5+ damage after like maybe one block, and now they're trying to hold 3 cards, and all of a sudden you attack with this and say, okay, that's fine. If you want to hold 3 cards, I'm going to take your dynamos. Right? Really forces a lot of interaction. So we have links in there for matchups where we think we're just not going to be able to get that mask activation. Things like, mainly Dynamo Warrior right now is where I'm running this, and then we're on AB1. So we have some other thoughts in here of cards I'm thinking about. Raker of the Coals is a really cool one. On a long Cindra turn, this is a 0 for 4, 0 for 5 Uprising, 0 for 5, 0 for 6. I've gotten up to, I think, 5 value on it. It's the highest I've gotten. Pick Up the Point can be really good just to be able to retrieve. We don't need it as much. Ignite's a card I've been playing around with. It's more cost reduction, really good. The power is just a little low, which bugs me. I don't know why, it just does. Oath of Loyalty is kind of cool. It's a 0 for 4, block 3, go again. And with Fealty, pretty much it's just a starting Blaze Headlong that blocks better. Really, really nice. But yeah, this is the list. Definitely check it out. Let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure it's public. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are as we go through this season. But yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time on TC Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Look at the Google sheet down below. Look at our creators, like, comment, subscribe, and their stuff. Let's get more people seeing this game. I'll see y'all next time.